And welcome back, everyone, to the FX Open Invitational Series. Group C final match is I Am Unstable, joined here by Lillian. It is going to be FXOTear up against TSLRevival. Atlanta Spaceship will be game number 2. Coming out here as Tia did take a game 1 on Entombed Valley. So here we go, straight into it. Take it away, Lillian.
Yeah, here we are on Atlanta Spaceship, guys. This could be the final match of the evening, and it could be the final match of the group as well. Is TSLRevival going to be able to make a comeback? Well, I'll have to wait and see. He was not able to win game 1. The Zerg spawning in the top spawn position here in the blue colors today. And in the bottom spawn position, we've got the FXO player tier, the Red Protoss. He was able to take game 1 in what was the most atypical PvZ, professional PvZ that I've seen in a while. Of course, we're not going to be able to see that crazy of a style on this map, because taking an early third as Protoss is completely out of the question on this map. So we might see a more standard PvZ on this map, don't you think?
Yeah, it's not exactly possible to take that third, as you were saying. Unless it's like in a completely weird spot and the Zerg just goes complete full retard mode. But we'll see how it plays out. Tier, of course, very strong in this matchup, as we saw from the last game. We do see a pull first coming down for Revival because their probe's already been frustrating. A very long map, this one as well. The rush distance quite severe, if you want to do any kind of early aggression. However, looks like we're actually going to see a Nexus first.
Yeah, we are going to see a Nexus first. Out of tier here as Revival, he doesn't even attempt to go expand that as natural. He's like, well, I don't even know if a probe's there, but probably, so I'm going to go straight towards my third. And he's going to drop that second base at his usual third base location. Of course, the order in where your bases go down for Zerg doesn't really matter much. If you grab that third base location first or your natural first, it's not that big of a deal. There's no real big disadvantages you'll get from that. So that's all fine for Revival. And the early game PvZ, this is how we know it. This is how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, but this does leave Revival open to being cannon rush down here, as we do see Tier coming down. He doesn't move into the vision, or actually he does move into the vision range. He's going to say hi to that hatchery and back off. A lot of the time you see the probe just start around the outskirts of the vision range and plant down some cannons, but not this time. So we do have 2 Zerglies coming out now. Are they going to miss the probe? No, they're not. I was going to say, that is the one thing close. You don't want to miss when you're down there.
No, if that probe would have stayed alive, like in the bottom, in the right side of that base, he would have been able to cannon rush that base later on. And even though there's going to be plenty of Zerglings and Queens out on the field, if you don't see it coming, the cannon rush, and all of a sudden 2 cannons are behind your mineral line, that's a very tricky position to be in. All of a sudden you have to go and expand somewhere else, or you have to stay on 2 base a little bit, and staying on 2 base is nothing that a current day Zerg wants to do. Of course, they want to have that third base as early as possible, and we're probably going to see the third base come down right now for Revival, as these 2 Lings are not going to attempt to make any kind of run by, because they'll die. 2 Lings, not enough to run by a cannon. You really need to have like 6 Lings.
6 is usually the number you need to get past yeah. Depends on the positions and stuff, but that's usually the safe bet number. Alrighty, so with 3 base, this is looking like a very, very standard PvZ right now. 3 bases for our Zerg. He has got 1 gas. He's got Zergling speed on the way, starting to get his queens out. He's actually sent his queen all the way to the third base first. No, sorry, never mind. I'm just silly. I was going to say there's no way that would happen. He made the queen there when it popped up. He was hiding under the little bar there in the main. But we got creep coming out for Revival as well. He actually played quite a strong macro game until that engagement where he just didn't have any support for his Broodlords. So definitely not counted out in this one.
No, definitely not. Revival, a really good Zerg player. I definitely don't count him out at any point in time. On this base, we're most likely to see a 2 base all-in, of course, out of Protoss, because taking a 3rd base on this map is ridiculously hard as Protoss. Pretty much impossible, I think. I haven't seen many successful attempts at taking a 3rd base for Protoss and being able to defend it if the Zerg attempts to attack it with a big Roachling maxed army around the 13-14 minute mark. So I'm fully expecting some form of a 2 base all-in by tier here. Just which one it's gonna be, that's always the question. We do have 4 gases for tier, so it's definitely gonna be something gas heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see that double Stargate now, so that's where the gas is going. Straight into that. However, this does leave him open to a lot of aggressive plays with Lings and Banelings, as we saw in Crank versus I can't remember who else it was. We saw it online somewhere. But anyway, we were talking about it. When were we talking about it? Anyway, 3-base Link Baneling all-in sometimes catches a lot of people off guard. But let's see how this one goes, shall we?
Yeah, this double Stargate opener, that's something that I used to do in PvZ all the time. Even when nobody was doing it on ladder anymore, I was still doing it. I love my double Stargate opening, and it was a cheese, of course. It's relying on the Zerg not scouting it, because if the Zerg gets a spine, gets 2 Spore Crawlers and a Queen at each base, there's absolutely nothing that the double Stargate opener is going to do, and you're going to be pretty much without a follow-up. But if it does not get scouted, it do some significant damage. We're going to see Phoenix here, by the way, unstable. Wow.
Yeah, well, cool. TR used this build in GSTL against Curious a couple weeks ago. In FXO versus Starter. What he'll do is he'll hide until there's like 4 or 6 of them, and then come out of nowhere and try and clear out Overlords to see, like, clear out Overlords early to try and make sure that the Zerg player won't notice it until it's actually in his base. And that way he cleans out Queens quite quickly and gets a significant lead, and also takes down a lot of Overlords. We do see, there we go, there's the final 2 coming down now.
Yeah, and Revival, he's not going to be ready for this as much. He doesn't have a single Spore. Does he even have an Evo Chamber? Yes, he does have an Evo Chamber, but he doesn't have a single Spore, and he doesn't have that many Queens either. He has 3 Queens for 3 hatcheries, so that's really the minimum to have. The Phoenix have still not yet been spotted, and they're going to come flying in here. They're going to lift that Queen, kill it off, and then they're going to maybe fly to the natural and start killing that Queen, or maybe he's going to go for the drones. There's really a lot of different options he could go for right now. This Queen is definitely dead here in the main base. Gets lift, and that Overlord's probably going to fall as well. Finally, we see the Spore Crawlers go down everywhere for Revival. He was running a 4th base at this same time. That 4th base is not going to be helping him much, as he has to defend against these Phoenixes first, losing his Queens everywhere. Only 1 Queen left on the map as soon as this one dies.
Yeah, exactly, and that was the entire point of these Phoenix. Whoa, they're actually not doing anything right now. What is he thinking? Needs to do something. Just 2 more Phoenixes on the way, lifting up a lot of drones. He's going to lift up another Queen, but the Spores are now finished up. So it's going to come down to how well can TR control these to keep himself out of trouble. We do also see a 4th base here. We have Revival actually pushing forward these roaches. This is actually going to do a lot of damage here, Lillian, because there's nothing really at home for TR. TR is just Phoenix is just sitting here doing nothing at the moment. It looks like he's just focusing on what's going on at home. He's also trying to take a 3rd base at this same point in time, but there's a lot of roaches here. There's more on the way. He needs to start using that energy to pick up these roaches, or he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he definitely does. The first 2 Void Rays are about to pop out. The first Immortal is now out on the field. That's going to be helping a lot, and I think Revival is going to have to retreat at this point. There's too many Phoenix, and that Immortal, of course, doing a lot of damage as well. The Gateway might fall, but that's really not the biggest of deals, losing a single Gateway at this point in the game. The 3rd base has been scouted as well by Revival. He's attacking it with 3 Roaches and 2 Links. He might be able to force the cancel over. It is going to be close. Another Warp. It is going to be happening. Revival wants to get that Nexus so much, and I think he will be able to get it.
It's going to be very, very close. Oh my god.
It stays alive. With 70 HP at one point. Oh my god, that was close. More reinforcements streaming in though. There's still roaches streaming across the map, but that's not enough roaches to be able to snipe this Nexus off.
There's a couple in the main here at the moment as well. There's 5 roaches in the main. The Phoenix is coming over to deal with those. There's more. Oh, he's going to get the Nexus! FXOTear is actually out of position. He's actually going to lose this 3rd Nexus. Nicely done by Revival.
Oh, that's such a shame, man. And there have been a lot of probe kills by those 5 roaches in the main.
Yeah, there's no energy on the Phoenixes. Wow. There we go.
16 workers killed, 17, 18, and 20. He's killing so many workers here. 21. That 1 roach is going to town, man. This roach underneath Phoenix.
He's also got wings in the natural as well, by the way. So,
oh my god, the aggression is everywhere.
Yeah, forcing TR to actually really split up his attention. Not doing all that well with that. And now this has allowed Revival to get his 4th base up. He is 40 supply ahead. He's ahead in the tech because he does already have Hydras on the field now to deal with his air. And the thing's not looking good for TR at all.
No, he's actually looking a little bit dead here, as Artosis would say. I love that. I love that phrase that he sometimes uses. He's actually looking a little bit dead because he only has 40 probes right now. He doesn't have any tech to deal with the Hydras, like you pointed out. Those Hydras already out on the field. No, does he even have a robotics? Yes, he does have a robotics facility, but no robotics bay yet. So no Colossus are going to be able to hit the field. No Storms either, and Storm and Colossi, that's really how you deal with those big Zerg bio balls with roaches and Hydras. And like you said, man, TR, he's in a world of hurt. He's very far behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, so Tier 2 bases down. He's trying to get his third base up and running, and Revival knows how far ahead he is right now. He's making a heap of Zerglings just in case he needs to defend, mainly for run buys at the same time though. So this is actually looking quite desperate for Tier this entire time. Revival can quite happily sit back, tech up, see what's going on, but he is moving across the map now, and as you were saying, Lillian, there is no Colossi to deal with these Hydras. They are going to do so much damage and DPS output to the Zealot Stalker army. And he's actually now seen it with, I think I just lost Lillian. I think I did. Yep, alright, so it's all on me now. Alright, so, as I was saying, the sound's actually bugging out because Lillian's in and out, but what we're going to do here is, I'm surprised that Revival has actually backed off here at this point in time. He's actually trying to get a good position. The longer he waits, the more Colossi are going to come out. There's double robotics facilities here that are going to be able to push that out, and the longer he waits, the less time Revival's going to have. He does still have that 50 supply advantage though, so we'll see how that goes. He is coming, I got Mutas here as well, just to take a bit of fire from these Phoenixes if he needs to, or to help deal with those. He's just splitting up this unit composition so much. It's very diverse, and here we go. Force fields go down for Tier, and they've actually forced Revival to back up, keeping him out of the way. But he's going back in now, and for more force fields go down, we've got a lot of Void Rays, a lot of Colossi, very reminiscent of that Void Ray Colossus era that was finally figured out. However, there's mainly only Stalkers and Hydras left yet now. But the Mutas are coming in, and this is actually going to start looking very grim for Tier. He's still got those 2 Colossi. He's lifting up as many Hydras as he can. He will be able to clean this army up. However, the bank here for Revival is quite good. He's trying to kite with these Hydras. It's not going to happen, though. He might as well just turn around and fight. However, Revival has taken the top 12 o'clock and the 5 o'clock bases here while this has happened. And Tier moving out now. The Remax here for Revival is going to be very deadly. He's got 38 lings, 7 Mutas on the way as well. There's also quite a few Mutas over here on the left-hand side. So Tier needs to be very careful. He doesn't really have that much ground support here at the moment. And it looks like we're going to see a run by Revival running around to the right-hand side with those. He's losing a Phoenix to the Mutas. And actually, no, he's going to lose all his Phoenixes here to the Mutas. This is not looking good for Tier whatsoever. He's still 30 supply down. He's starting to lose a lot of this tech. And there's only 2 Colossi and 1 Void Ray left on the field. But here comes Revival into this third base. There is a nice wall off here by Tier, but it is being targeted down now by the Mutas and looking very desperate. But he will be able to force him back with his units returning here. He only has 1 pylon regarding all of this. The Phoenixes are dropping in health quite quickly. 11 more Mutas are on their way, and they do have the +1 upgrade, +2 on the way. And Tier has been on the back foot this entire time, but he's up against a 5 base Zerg, and soon to be 6 base as he remakes this one just here. As Lillian's still offline in Skype, so his connection must have just dropped, but that's okay. We'll see how it goes when we get him back. Okay, so Fleet Beacon on the way now for Tier. He's getting some cannons in his main to stop these Mutas coming in. A little bit too late though, as they do come skyrocketing into these games, picking up all the units as they're warping in. 1, 2, 3, 4 Stalkers taken out instantly. Oh, the Colossi are at the front as well. Needs to be very careful with those. However, I think he's going to be able to target them down. The Muta count is just so high here for Revival. It doesn't look like Tier has anything he can do against it. He's still stuck on these 3 bases though. And he's still continuing to remake these Phoenixes. He's trying to deal with these Mutas as best he can. However, there is 21 on the field already. He's moving back down into this space. But oh, the Colossus! They are going to get completely picked off. Nothing he can do about it with those Lings and Mutas there. Oh my god, these 3 Phoenixes on such low health. Revival doing such a good job this entire game. Now coming down, I think it's just finally going to be too much here for Tier to be able to deal with. Trying to warp in some more Stalkers, but it's just not going to be enough at all. And it looks like we might see Revival tie up this series as Tier just been completely run ragged here in this entire game. Left, right. But we're going to see as those Mutas back off, we've got more Lings coming into the natural. Tier's army is completely out of position down here at the right-hand side. He's lost his Colossi count, but the Lings are now into the main base. There is only 1 pylon powering both of these Stargates, and that's being picked off by the Mutas right now, and that's no more Phoenixes for quite a while for Tier. The Zerglings coming in to deal with the cannons at the back of the base. More Zerglings coming down at the right-hand side here as well as he's coming back, trying to take out these cannons and pylons as he's going through. But the worker count It's just devastating. 40 kills plus for Revival at this point in time. The Phoenix is still trying to do what they can, but there's just too many mutas. Zerglings are now cleaning up the rest of these gateways. 77 supply to 165. There's the GG. Revival will take game number 2 between these two guys, tying up the series. We'll be right back in 2 minutes' time. Hopefully we can get Literally back on the line before this final game, and we'll see how this group ends up.